My name is Louisa. I am 38 years old. I have a husband. His name is George. He is 44 years old. I work in a small city office. Life was quiet before I met George. George was kind, funny, and handsome. He smiled a lot. We met at a friend's dinner. I was very shy. He talked to me first. We laughed about the cold soup. I felt safe with him. After a few weeks, we started dating. George had a big family. He lived with his parents and younger sister in a big house. One day, George took me to his big house. He wanted his family to meet me. I brought flowers and a cake. His mother smiled but said little. His father shook my hand. His sister ignored me. I told myself maybe they are just quiet. George and I dated for a year. Then George asked me to marry him. I said yes. I was very happy, but his family was not. His mother said, "Son, why are you marrying so soon?" His sister said, "She doesn't know how we live." The wedding was small. My parents came. George's family barely smiled. His mother wore a black dress. His sister left early. After the wedding, we moved into his family house. It would save money, George said. I wanted to be close to him, so I agreed. At first, I tried to be helpful. I woke up early, made breakfast, cleaned the kitchen, washed dishes, helped his mother with laundry. But she never said thank you. One day, his mother gave me a long list of chores: clean the floors, windows, and bathroom. I was tired, but did it. George said, "That's nice, Louisa. You're good at helping." I wanted him to say more, but he didn't say anything else. His sister started asking things too. "Can you make me tea, Louisa? Can you iron my dress?" She stayed in her room all day. She did no housework. I was tired. I tried talking to George. I said, "I feel like a maid, not a wife." George said, "They just need time, Louisa. Please be patient." But nothing changed. I cooked meals. I washed clothes by hand. My hands hurt. Once in winter, I made corn soup. His mother said, "Too salty. You don't know how to cook." She threw it away. I wanted to cry. I stopped seeing my friends. I stopped going out. George didn't notice. One night I said, "I don't want to live like this." He said, "My mother needs help, Louisa." I said, "I am not your mother's worker. I have no space, no voice. If I sit, someone asks me to clean, cook, or fold." My husband thought I was overreacting. On weekends, George went out. I stayed home. His mother said, "A good wife stays at home and works." I missed my mother. She worked, smiled, sang, and danced while cooking. I began going to the park. It was my only quiet time. One day his sister laughed and said, "Marriage changed you, Louisa. You look old." I looked in the mirror. My eyes were tired. My smile was gone. I asked myself, where is the old me? A week later, my cousin Phoebe called. She said, "How is married life, Louisa?" I said, "It's good." But inside, I wanted to tell her the truth. I felt like a maid. I cooked, I cleaned, I stayed quiet. No one appreciated me. One morning, I made tea and toast. His mother complained about no sugar. George came, ate, and didn't wait for me. His sister asked for a sandwich. She didn't say thank you. I talked to George. I said, "Your family does not like me." He said, "That's not true. They just want help." I said, "Why don't they ask you?" George ignored me. I felt tired and went to bed. The next day, his mother made me clean all the windows. Hours later, she said I missed one. I felt like crying. That night, I told George again, "I don't want to stay here." He said, "Where will we go, Louisa? We can't pay rent." I said, "We can try. We can live in a small apartment." He said, "I like it here." I looked at him. He looked away. I felt angry. I wanted to scream at him, but I said nothing. I called Phoebe, my cousin. I told her everything. She said, "You are not their maid. You are George's wife." Her words stayed in my mind. That night I went home but did not cook. George asked why. I said, "I'm tired." He said, "My mother said you are lazy." I said, "Let her say what she wants." Next morning, his mother gave me a dress to wash by hand. I said, "No, I won't." His mother shouted, "This is my house. You cannot say no to me." I said, "Okay, then I will leave." George came. I packed a small bag. I said, "I need a break. I'll stay with Phoebe for a few days." Phoebe's house was quiet, clean, and safe. I smiled for the first time in weeks. I stayed at her house for 3 days. I called George. I said, "I need to talk." He came the next day. I said, "Do you want a wife or a maid?" He said, "You know it's not like that." I said, "It is. You let them treat me like this." He said, "I'll find a small place for us. Just us. I promise, Louisa." He looked for flats every day. After a week, we found a small apartment. It had 1 bedroom and a small kitchen. We moved. His family watched but said nothing. I held George's hand and walked away. In the flat, we unpacked together. We put plates, clothes in their places. We opened curtains. It felt warm and safe. That night, I cooked pasta. George set cups on the floor. We ate together. We laughed. I felt happy. I felt peace. Each morning I made breakfast. George ate and smiled. George shared chores. He washed dishes, cleaned the floor, and took out the trash. We did this together. It made me feel loved. It made me feel special. We watched movies together, walked in the park, held hands. We said sorry. We said I love you. We added small things to our apartment. A table, chairs, a rug, a photo. It was our home. On our first anniversary, George bought a small cake. We lit 1 candle. We danced and held each other. We felt free. I wore my favorite dress. I felt like myself again. George said, "You look beautiful, Louisa." I smiled. We still missed our friends, family, and Phoebe sometimes, but not the old house. I am Louisa. I am George's wife, not a maid. I have small things, but I have love, peace, and joy. I have my own life now. I have my own home. I can wake up and do what I want. No one tells me to clean or cook all the time. I can be myself. I am not living for others. I am living for myself. This is how a woman feels when she has her own home. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.